So in this video, I wanted to interview my wife about how it was like to get married in Hawaii. I grew up here, so I pretty much knew how Hawaii weddings would be, what some of the customs are. But my wife, she's from Japan, and so they do things very differently there. So when we got married here in Hawaii, there were a lot of things I'm sure that she was surprised at. And so I thought it'd be kind of fun to interview her and talk about some of those things that surprised her, some of those interesting things that you can expect if you get married in Hawaii, or if you choose to do the ceremony the way that we did, or the reception the way that we did. But I thought it was a really great experience, and I like that she brings a different perspective to getting married in Hawaii. So here is that interview.
Okay, so we had our wedding at the hotel called Halekoa. We had our wedding ceremony in the garden and had the reception inside. I think it's very typical to have the ceremony outside in Hawaii because it's just the weather is mostly, it's nice. I mean, you can try to do it indoor too, but I think the typical weddings, they often they decide to do the wedding outside the ceremony outside, and then move the reception towards to inside, or they have it in the garden too and set the tent and then they do the reception there. But we decided to do indoors because we had a kind of brunch lunch reception, and then I knew that during the day it's gonna get too hot for people to bear with the sun and the temperatures. I'm glad that we decided to do morning ceremony and then brunch and lunch reception, so that we also gave time for our guests from Japan to enjoy the rest of the day after the reception was finished. It wasn't the fanciest, but I'm just glad how things turned out. And we had a great day. So we did a buffet style lunch, and I think that's one of the typical food or style that we do it in Hawaii that I've never actually had in Japan, because in Japan they have all these tables set up for you, and then they have course menus usually, so you just sit and then all these waitresses, they bring the plate and bring food and all that. But here we decided to do buffet style so that people could just enjoy whatever they want to pick. I mean, there's more choice of food that they can choose to eat, and that was something that we usually don't have in Japan, I guess. One of the things I noticed the big difference was the party size of the wedding itself. When we were trying to figure out who to invite and all of that, I did not realize how in Hawaii they invite like a lot of families and relatives. Like in Japan, like having a party of 100 for a wedding is quite a big one, on the bigger side actually. But here I remember my husband telling me, "Oh, that's so small," and then we ended up inviting a total of 150 people, which I thought that was like a big party, but I guess in Hawaiian style it's on the smaller side. So I was very shocked when I heard that, because I was originally thinking of just having a smaller wedding, a party of probably not more than 100. But then considering how he or his parents wanted to invite a lot of family members and relatives from all over, so that kind of kept expanding our party members. And you don't only invite uncles and aunties, but also your cousins and your first and second cousins. It just list goes on and on and on and on. So just like, that was very different from the things that I had in my mind. So in Japan, you typically bring a big the money envelope, and then you give it to the reception at the table when you check in, and on the way back when you're done with the ceremony. Reception. All the guests. So all the parties, actually the husband and the wife and the family, they wait for you outside for all the guests to come out, and then they give you this bag of goodies to bring back home, which is actually it's a lot more than what you get from whatchamacallit, those gifts, wedding gifts. What is it? Oh, the favor. I'm sorry, the favors that you receive. Because here in America, you get the favors, but then those are like usually like small gifts. It's like we did soaps, but then like candies or what else? Candies, food, whatever the couple wants to give away. But it's just something small. But in Japan, there are actually a big like a huge bag like of goodies or like dishes or they even give you a catalog sometimes that so that you can choose whatever item you want to order from on that catalog.
Why do you think people like to get married in Hawaii?
I think because they have a beautiful scenery. I mean, they have all these reasons why a lot of Japanese couples like to do their ceremony, but you gotta remember that the people that they do ceremonies and receptions in Japan, they don't bring that big party. It's only close to your relative, probably the closest relatives, like parents and siblings, and maybe I don't even know, aunties and uncles maybe, and just close friend, and that's it. Probably less than like 30 people. Yeah, I don't, maybe money wise too, because in Japan these people spend so much money on weddings, and it's usually we didn't do our weddings in Japan, but then I hear like it's usually about 30,000 to 500,000, or even could go even more. I mean, it's an industry where you could just keep pouring the money into. My God.
Okay, so I want to thank my wife again for allowing me to interview her. Again, you know, I grew up here, so having a Hawaii wedding was pretty, I mean, you probably are going to have that. It would be pretty uncommon for someone who grew up here and is living here to not really have a Hawaii wedding, which typically involves a lot of family, food, entertainment. But yeah, I kind of want to hear it from someone else's perspective who didn't have those expectations and who didn't really grow up exposed to that kind of wedding. So thanks for sharing all your perspectives. So, but thanks for watching this video. Hope you found it interesting, and I'll see you next time. Aloha.